In the instant of the laboratory explosion, my boyfriend Adrian anxiously rushed to Lilith on the outermost edge and tightly shielded her under his body. Once the explosion ceased, he immediately carried her to the hospital without even glancing at me, who was blasted and covered in blood, lying on the ground. That little girl he had raised for 18 years filled his heart completely, leaving no room for anyone else. I was sent to the hospital by colleagues and barely survived. After leaving the ICU, with my eyes swollen from crying, I called my mentor. "Professor Lee, I've decided, I'm willing to join you in the classified research. Even if we depart in a month and I can't contact anyone for 5 years, it's fine." A month later was my long-awaited wedding, but I no longer wanted to proceed. After my hospitalization, visitors came and went, relatives and friends all visited. However, as my boyfriend, Adrian only called once. "The little one is crying badly, I can't get away. Take care of yourself." "Gotta go, she refuses to eat unless I feed her, can't be helped." How pathetic. After 10 years of dating, in his heart, my life wasn't as important as his little niece eating. Clearly, at the beginning, it was Adrian who had a crush on me and pursued me vigorously. When someone spread false rumors about me, he fought with that person and nearly got a major demerit. I liked the shrimp dumplings from the old district, and he would go buy them regardless of wind or rain. My math grades were poor and always held me back. He stayed up late to organize my error notebook, summarizing error-prone types and explaining them to me. It was he who shamelessly followed me, confessed, and said he wanted to be with me for a lifetime. But it was also he who repeatedly abandoned me for Lilith. With wounds still bleeding on my body, the pain constantly reminded me that I should have given up on a man who doesn't love me long ago. Holding back tears, I deleted all content related to him on social media, then sent notifications to my relatives and friends one by one. "The wedding in a month is cancelled, don't make a wasted trip." 25 days later, I handled my discharge procedures myself and took a taxi back to the wedding house. The roses I planted outside the villa had been pulled out and replaced with lettuce. The swing set was removed, and a huge cartoon sign was erected, "Little Girl and Little Uncle's Love Cabin." Behind it, there were cartoon figures of 2 people kissing. No need to ask, it was Lilith's idea again. This wasn't the first time she acted like this. But no matter how absurd she was, Adrian would indulge her. I smiled self-mockingly, entered Lilith's birthday on the digital door lock, and went home. In 5 days, I would depart with my mentor. I needed to pack my luggage. I went straight upstairs, but I didn't expect that when I pushed open the bedroom door, I would see 2 people tightly embracing on the bed, Adrian bare-chested, wearing only pajama pants, with a bitten lip and fresh scratch marks on his chest. Lilith, wearing a spaghetti-strap dress, nestled in his arms, her fullness pressed against him, entwining him like vines. On the floor was a discarded black lace thong. I thought I had prepared myself mentally. But seeing this scene, blood still uncontrollably rushed to my head. This was my wedding house, my bedroom, how could they do this to me? "Sylvia, why did you come back without a word?" "The little one and I didn't do anything, don't overthink it." Adrian woke up seeing me, got out of bed, and hastily put on a shirt. Lilith, awakened by the noise, mumbled sleepily, "I've been afraid of thunder since childhood, every thunderstorm, only little uncle holding me lets me sleep. Auntie wouldn't nitpick over such a small thing, right?" I was so angry I wanted to cry. But when I left the hospital, I had warned myself not to shed a single tear for Adrian anymore. Nothing to nitpick about. "Rest assured, even if you do it in front of me, I won't stop you," I said and left. If I didn't leave, I feared tears would fall. But Adrian chased after me, angrily grabbing me. "The little one and I are innocent. As an elder, how can you say such nonsense to her? Do you know how much psychological trauma that could cause her? Go apologize to her." I forcefully shook off his hand and broke down. "Always, the little one won't eat, the little one will have psychological trauma. Adrian, I was hospitalized for 25 days, nearly died, did you worry about me for even a second?" Hearing me mention the hospitalization, Adrian's dissatisfaction turned to guilt. "It's not that I didn't visit you in the hospital, it's just that the little one was frightened by the explosion, and I had to comfort her. I couldn't spare the time. That one sentence extinguished all my reluctance, leaving only despondency. The thousands of words accumulated in my chest, along with my tears, dissipated at that moment. What was there to argue about? Adrian no longer loved me. That sentence was enough to answer all my questions. Lilith was calling for Adrian. He frowned at me, threw out, "Forget it today, but don't spout nonsense to the little one anymore," and left. In the end, he didn't show any concern for me. Now I can give up completely, I murmured to myself, standing there for a long time before getting up to pack my luggage. Except for documents and a few clothes, I threw everything else away. Finally, only the dozens of portraits Adrian had painted for me during his pursuit remained. My friend who studied painting had teased me then, "These portraits have no technique, they're all emotion." I couldn't paint something like this even if I tried. It was these portraits that made me think Adrian truly loved me. I smiled self-mockingly, carried the box of paintings outside, and set them on fire. When Adrian came looking for me, he happened to see this scene. He rushed over in panic, pushed me aside without fearing the heat, and reached into the fire to retrieve the unburned paintings. "What are you doing?" His voice was trembling. I wanted to say I didn't want them anymore, but what came out was, "These paintings have moth infestations." Over these years, we were always arguing. I was truly exhausted. I didn't want to argue anymore. Adrian hesitated only for a moment before throwing the rescued paintings back into the flames. "The little one is most afraid of bugs. I'll paint new ones for you later." No need. We had no future. The flames burned brighter, then gradually diminished, finally extinguishing, leaving only a pile of ashes. Just like Adrian's and my love. Including today, 5 days left. I threw the ashes into the trash bin, posted on Facebook, and went to rest in the guest room farthest from the master bedroom. In the morning, upon opening my eyes, Facebook was filled with people teasing me about whether I was eager to become Adrian's bride. Adrian commented, "I'm also looking forward to the day you walk toward me in a wedding dress." He was the biggest love liar. I was physically and mentally exhausted. He still wanted to perform as a loving couple, but I had no energy to cooperate. I replied to no one, washed up, and went downstairs. During breakfast, Adrian asked, "Sylvia, did you schedule the marriage registration for this afternoon?" Originally, it was scheduled for this afternoon, but now I didn't want to. But before I could speak, Lilith plastered herself onto Adrian. "Little uncle," I suddenly remembered, "this afternoon there's the basketball game I've been looking forward to for a long time." Adrian pinched her cheek, "Why didn't you say earlier?" Lilith pouted, "But I just remembered, it's not on purpose. If you're not free to accompany me, I can go alone. Anyway, getting hit on by handsome guys there, I won't lose out, maybe I'll meet my true love." She got up to leave. Adrian panicked, grabbed her hand, and pulled her into his arms. "I didn't say I wouldn't accompany you." He looked at me with a troubled expression. "Sylvia, you see," I said sarcastically, "marriage registration requires only the couple to go. Does the basketball game have a legal requirement that you must be Lilith's companion?" Adrian's face darkened immediately. "The little one is just playful. She's been looking forward to this game for a long time. Do we have to leave her with such a big regret because of our minor matter of registration? Since you weren't planning to listen to me anyway, why ask?" "Sylvia." "Fine, I'm not stopping you. Anyway, the registration has been cancelled 3 times already, one more time doesn't matter. Lilith is the most important, go ahead." In the past, I would have argued heatedly with him over right and wrong, but now I couldn't muster the energy to quarrel. Anyway, I didn't want to register with him anymore. Seeing I didn't make a fuss anymore, Adrian's expression softened. "It seems you've really become sensible. Rest assured, the wedding is in 3 days, I'll definitely accompany you to register before the wedding," he assured me and then left embracing Lilith. She whined about not wanting to walk. He laughingly scolded her as a lazy little one and picked her up. Lilith giggled in his arms, turned back, flipped me the middle finger with a provocative smile. "Little uncle won't come home tonight, he's accompanying me to have fun to the fullest." Auntie, don't disturb us. I was truly fed up with their brazenness. I took my phone and recorded a short video of Lilith, placing it in their dedicated folder, which was full of their overly intimate videos and photos. I packaged them together and sent to the wedding planner. Hello, I want to change the photos and videos to be played on the wedding day, thank you. Then, posted on Facebook, 4 days left. They loved showing affection in front of me, I'll help them out. 4 days left, and everyone will see their touching family bond. The next day, Adrian called me. Won't be back today or tomorrow, the event is 3 days total, and it's rare for the little one to have so much fun. I watched her grow up since childhood, if I don't accompany her, I'm afraid she'll be bullied. I perfunctorily hummed and hung up, went to his company to resign. On the way home, updated Facebook, 3 days left. After the event ended, Adrian still didn't return, just called again. Today I won't come back either. The little one organized a bachelor party for me, saying it's the last indulgence before marriage. I know there's rehearsal the day before the wedding and it's busy, but this is after all the little one's kind intention. Probably Adrian also knew how absurd these things he did were, a person usually righteous in everything, now couldn't help but feel guilty. From the other side, Lilith's complaining voice faintly came, "Little uncle, losing the game means a kiss, you didn't have to kiss my lip until it broke." Adrian hung up directly. I said nothing. I just had people throw away the clothes I bought for him, daily necessities, the lamps I picked, the furniture and tableware I selected. In this villa, anything related to me, I had all thrown out. The last day. Looking at the empty villa, I posted on Facebook. After today, no matter how much I loved, hated, or resented before, I don't want to have any relation with Adrian or Lilith anymore. Adrian commented, "Wife, rest assured, this party absolutely won't affect our wedding. Tomorrow's wedding, I'll arrive on time, wait for me to marry you." But whether he arrives on time or not, I had no intention of marrying. I didn't reply, stayed awake until dawn. Then on the wedding day, when Adrian brought a group to fetch the bride, in front of them, I took my suitcase and boarded the helicopter arranged by my mentor. "Sylvia, where are you going?" Adrian shouted my name in panic. Amid the roaring whirl of the propellers, I leaned over looking at the ground. He ran very fast, delusionally trying to catch up to the helicopter, falling to the ground in a mess. The groomsmen quickly helped him up, he shook them off and chased the helicopter desperately on the ground. I had never seen him so distraught for me. No, that's not right. In the first 5 years of our relationship, he cared a lot about me. When I drank to gastric bleeding to help him win clients, he held me and cried until he lost his voice. Later, during his company's critical listing period, to help him, I stayed up nights doing experiments and fainted from exhaustion. He panicked and sent me to the hospital. When I woke, he was so distraught his limbs went weak, kneeling before me holding me and crying. When did he start drifting away from me? It seemed to be on Lilith's 18th birthday, when she drunkenly kissed him. He stayed with her the whole night. From that day, they grew increasingly intimate, and I became an outsider. After we started dating, he said more than once, "Sylvia, meeting you is the luckiest thing in my life. I want to marry you. As long as I can be with you for a lifetime, I'll do anything." But later, for 5 years, I repeatedly made one request, maintain boundaries with Lilith. He couldn't do it. Was it because we dated too long and he got tired? Or do men all prefer younger ones? Or perhaps, after being kissed by Lilith, he suddenly realized he loved her? These questions tormented me sleepless night after night, but I couldn't find answers. Beep beep beep, the phone's buzzing interrupted my thoughts. It was Adrian calling, his voice full of panic. "Sylvia, where are you going? What does it have to do with you?" The man who once made me worry endlessly, now hearing his voice only left disgust. "How is it unrelated? Did you forget today is our wedding?" "I'm not like you, forgetting everything, I did it on purpose. You stood me up so many times, I only missed one wedding, it's not excessive, right?" Adrian seemed about to get angry but held back. In the days before the wedding, I was only focused on fulfilling the little one's wishes. indeed neglecting your feelings a bit. I'll pay attention in the future. Can you come back now? Parents are waiting, the wedding must continue. Wait for me for what? Let your little one be the bride and it can continue. What nonsense are you saying? She's just my niece. She's just close to me because I raised her since childhood, you. Even now, he was using those old excuses to brush me off. But who kisses their niece until her lip breaks? Who lies half-naked in bed hugging their niece? Who hugs and cuddles their niece all day? I had a pile of words to refute Adrian, but we'd argued about this topic too many times. I was truly tired and weary. I hung up directly and turned off the phone. I thought that was the end. Unexpectedly, soon after, the pilot suddenly shouted, "A helicopter is catching up." The roaring sound gradually approached. I turned and saw Adrian piloting a helicopter, flying parallel to mine. "Sylvia, come home with me. Stop throwing tantrums, my patience is limited." His angry voice transmitted through the helicopter. No wonder he was so angry. Over the past years, it was always he and Lilith embarrassing me. Even if I was angry and argued with him, I would consider the big picture. He probably never imagined I'd pull such a stunt on the long-awaited wedding day. The National Security Bureau staff in the front seat asked me, "Miss Sylvia, do you want to catch up with this gentleman?" "No need, just proceed according to your rules." I had nothing to say to Adrian. The staff nodded and shouted into the loudspeaker, "First warning, unrelated personnel, do not approach." Adrian ignored the warning. "I admit, you barely survived, and I didn't visit you in the hospital, that was a bit excessive. I promise, next time you're hospitalized, I'll definitely make time to visit." The staff gave me a sympathetic look. "Second warning, unrelated personnel, do not approach." "Sylvia, don't pretend to be fine there. I stood you up several times for registration, that's my fault too. After the wedding, we'll register tomorrow, that should be okay, right?" For Adrian, this was already conceding multiple times. He probably thought I'd accept it. But I was too lazy to say a word to him. After 2 ineffective warnings, on the third, 2 military helicopters directly deployed, forcing Adrian to stop. Sniper rifles aimed at his forehead, throat, and chest. Any further movement, and the snipers would take his life at any time. Adrian finally realized I was serious. I left today with no intention of returning. "Sylvia." He called my name, his voice trembling from excessive panic. But what's there to panic about? I'm human too, I get hurt and sad. When he abandoned me time and again for Lilith, he should have anticipated this day. I closed my eyes, not wanting to look at him. Classified research prohibits contact with the outside world. When I saw Adrian again, it was 5 years later. I returned home, and relatives and friends prepared a welcome banquet for me. A group excitedly chattered at me. "Sylvia, you don't know how chaotic the wedding day 5 years ago was." Once those photos and videos appeared on the screen, the Gu family lost all face. That pair of shameless dogs was too disgraceful. Exactly. That Adrian too, he treated you so badly, yet shamelessly piloted a helicopter to intercept you. Serves him right to be taken away and released only after half a month. Anyway, I can't understand him. While dating Sylvia, he was ambiguous with that Lilith. After the wedding, the Gu family wanted to reduce the impact of Adrian and Lilith's mess by having them marry. Lilith was quite willing, but Adrian adamantly refused, saying he only wanted to marry Sylvia in this life. Pfft. It was amid their discussions that Adrian forcefully broke free from others' blocks and approached me. He had slimmed down a lot, looked much more haggard, no longer the spirited figure. "Sylvia, is it really you? Leaving for 5 years, you're really ruthless." He stared at me, his face full of joy at regaining what was lost. But seeing him again, I only felt disgust. "Finished? You can leave now." Adrian said nervously, "Don't drive me away. Before, I did neglect your feelings a bit, but I..." Before he finished, my cousin stepped forward and pulled him out. "Treating my sister like that, breaking her heart and making her leave for 5 years, how do you have the face to find her? Get out. After the banquet, relatives and friends worried about Adrian harassing me. My big cousin and best friend specially escorted me home. Adrian drove, following behind all the way. After I got out, he wanted to approach me but was pushed away by my cousin. I didn't even look at him, went home, and shut him out. Once my big cousin and best friend left, Adrian knocked on the door. Sylvia. Sylvia, open the door. Things aren't as you think, I can explain. Sylvia. It was already midnight, and Adrian's commotion had neighbors coming out to see what was happening. I didn't want to disturb the neighbors or be entangled by him, so I frowned and opened the door. Seeing me, his face lit up. Sylvia, you finally opened. Adrian, we ended 5 years ago, please don't interfere with my life anymore. You said break up, I didn't agree. Sylvia, listen, it was all misunderstandings before. The one I love has always been you. I only have familial affection for the little one, I've never cheated. These words seemed accumulated in Adrian's heart for a long time. He grabbed my arm, getting more emotional as he spoke. I forcefully shook him off and said sarcastically, no cheating? Then calling yourselves a couple outside, your thigh being Lilith's exclusive seat, kissing in the car caught by traffic violation, feeding mouth to mouth in the past, kissing until the lip breaks, hugging and lying in bed. Were all those intimacies fake? It's not what you think. The little one calls herself my girlfriend outside, I don't refute to save her face. Sitting on my lap is just a habit from childhood. Kissing in the car was when I was drunk, mouth to mouth. Adrian started speaking righteously. But toward the end, his voice grew smaller until he couldn't speak. I looked at him coldly, weren't you good at sophistry? Continue. Adrian said bitterly, before, I did indulge the little one too much, that's my fault, I admit. But I guarantee, I've never had relations with her, and I'll keep distance in the future. I laughed, a 3-year-old's promise is more effective than yours. His guarantees were like farts to me. He also knew how absurd he was before, stammering, I didn't fulfill my previous promises. I was wrong, I'm willing to change, give me a chance. I'm unwilling, please leave, and don't disturb me today or in the future. I pushed Adrian out and closed the door. He knocked frantically, Sylvia. Adrian, if you go crazy again, I'll call the police. I warned through the door. Adrian shouted, we have 10 years of feelings, I don't believe you can be so heartless to me. I dialed 911. Soon 2 police officers came and took him away. Adrian messaged me, I know you still have me in your heart, it's just that I hurt you too deeply 5 years ago, so you don't want to see me. It's okay, I'll let you see my sincerity. You guessed wrong, I already have a boyfriend. Our relationship is stable, after meeting parents, we'll prepare for engagement. Don't come find me anymore. I was telling the truth. During the 5 years of classified research, I developed feelings over time with Ethan, the officer in charge of the research-based security. We've been dating for 3 years. But Adrian didn't believe, you're just still angry at me, saying this on purpose, right? We dated 10 years, each other's first love, I don't believe you'd fall for someone else. Before, I didn't cherish, I'll prove with actions that I'll change. But whether he changes or not, I no longer cared. I blocked his phone number, washed up, and went to sleep. The next day, habitually going for a morning run, who knew upon opening the door, Adrian was standing there. I knew you'd morning run and wake early. I got up at 4, specially fried shrimp dumplings, cooked millet pumpkin porridge, you can eat after running. No need, I don't want to entangle with an ex, making my boyfriend unhappy. I pushed away. Adrian smiled dismissively, don't lie, I asked, you returned alone this time. Not lying, he's an officer, marriage requires report, once approved, he'll hurry over. Due to his special status, Ethan's marriage review was more complex than others. It was because of a small issue with prepared documents that he had to supplement, causing the delay. Adrian chuckled, fine, let's say it's true. Then I'll bravely be the third wheel for true love, is that okay? As he spoke, he handed the lunchbox again. Sick. I cursed, throwing the lunchbox into the trash. Seeing this, after shock, Adrian looked at me hurt. But I just said expressionlessly, "Don't do self-touching things, it's superfluous." Then, bypassed him to run. Adrian chased, "I won't give up. Before, I did wrong, making you sad, it's right for you to be angry." I ignored him, he kept nagging beside. Annoyed, I finished running, went home for breakfast. My best friend, not seeing me for too long, excitedly invited me shopping. But upon opening the door, Adrian was standing there. Seeing me downstairs, he followed closely. "Where are you going?" "I'll drive you." "You have meetings, business trips, client meetings, and feed Lilith, accompany her drinking, carry her for walks. 24 hours a day aren't enough for you, no need to waste time on me." I was truly annoyed by him. But Adrian sighed in relief and smiled. "See, you're still jealous of the little one, you still have me in your heart." I was disgusted. Psycho. I drove myself to the mall. Adrian followed in his car. I met my best friend Maggie. He followed too, trying to please. "Whatever you fancy today, buy it, I'll pay." Maggie rolled her eyes. "I fancy this mall, buy it for me." Adrian choked. "Don't joke, I'm serious, whatever Sylvia likes, I'll pay." "Do we lack your money?" "Before, when Sylvia liked you, you guarded that green tea Lilith every day, Sylvia was in ICU, and you didn't even glance. Now Sylvia is fine with her boyfriend, you come entangling. Can't you stop being so cheap?" Adrian's face flushed. "I really know I was wrong and want to make amends. You don't have to collude to use a fake boyfriend to deceive me." Who told you that she is a fake boyfriend?" The cold male voice interrupted him directly. Adrian looked at the newcomer, expression changing, incredulously looking at me. But I didn't spare him a glance, just looked at Ethan and smiled involuntarily. "Didn't you say it'd take 2 more days to return?" "By procedure, yes, but I pestered them, saying it's hard to find a wife. If they delay, affecting my family building, I'll cry at their door every day." Facing me, Ethan's voice immediately softened. It's hard to imagine him with his aloof face throwing tantrums. But he could do it if determined. Anyway, at the base, I was teased a lot. They said before I came, Ethan ignored everyone except work. Then the iron tree bloomed, more flirtatious than anyone. If anyone affected him being with me, he'd do anything. Ethan embraced my shoulders, regardless of people, lowered his head and kissed me. "Baby, 26 hours without seeing, I miss you so much." "Stop fooling, so many people." "So what? I'm your boyfriend. Don't you miss me?" Like holding a child, he lifted me vertically. Passers-by, many watching me. I lowered my head, hammered his shoulder, blushing whispering, Miss, put me down quick." Ethan chuckled lowly, put me down, still embracing my shoulders, only politely greeting Maggie. "Hello, I'm Sylvia's boyfriend." Hello, I'm Maggie, Sylvia's best friend." We 3 exchanged pleasantries, walking into the mall. Ethan to my best friend, like to other females, was polite but not enthusiastic. No matter the occasion or people, his all attention was only on me. Not a few steps, Adrian followed again. His voice hoarse, shouting me, "I don't believe you just let go of me like this, Sylvia, let's talk, we just have misunderstandings." Ethan turned back disdainfully. "You're that ex who 2-timed, had Sylvia yet wanted to enjoy both worlds? No self-awareness at all?" Adrian like insulted. "I didn't cheat, I interrupted impatiently. "Roll now, or I call police, choose one." "Sylvia, do we have to make it like this? These 5 years you couldn't contact outside, don't you know about me and Lilith? She's adult, I already made her move out, cleared all her things from the wedding house. I haven't hugged her again, haven't let her sleep in my bed, no more playing big-scale truth or dare. All things you minded, I'm changing." Adrian with red eyes, as if making huge concessions for me. "But these are a boyfriend's basics, aren't they?" I had no intention to argue. directly called police, someone's harassing me. Officers soon arrived to take Adrian away. He looked at me painfully and affectionately, "You're leaving no room at all?" We had no affection to begin with. I felt no touch from his belated affection, only bafflement and disgust. If he truly loved me so, why in our 10 years together, he didn't care about me at all? Adrian was taken by police, finally quiet. I shopped with Maggie and Ethan. Mostly me and Maggie buying, chatting, he followed as bag carrier. Drank too much beverage, I went to restroom, they waited outside. When I came out, one dazed with bags, one scrolling phone furiously, ignoring each other. Once I appeared, like two NPCs suddenly infused with souls, their eyes lit up. "Baby, went to eat with in-laws. Sylvia, the new grilled fish place is good." After shopping back, I saw messages from unknown number. "Sylvia, I never meant to make you unhappy. I just think we have too many misunderstandings, giving up our feelings like this is too irrational. Don't rush marrying that man, let's talk, maybe you'll change mind. Obviously Adrian. Okay, tomorrow noon at Man-Law restaurant." When I replied, Ethan watched beside, frowning deeper. Ethan, I didn't plan to really meet him, I didn't want him to misunderstand. But before finishing explanation, Ethan said distrustedly, "You little fool with clumsy mouth, only knowing to silently be good to people, meeting this hypocrite full of morals but doing nothing humane, suffered a lot of grievances, right? All past." Adrian spoke nicely, I was naive then. I believed what he said, wasting so many years in that relationship. Ethan held me, pityingly kissed my forehead. Next day noon, I went with him to see my family. The young officer, usually bold and willful, was nervous all the way, at my home respectful and dutiful. Unknowing would think he changed person. My family was very satisfied with Ethan, pulling him to chat. I accompanied, first time knowing he could be so talkative. "What hotel?" "Stay at our home directly, cancel hotel." My mom decided, letting him stay here this period. During, Adrian called several times, I hung up all. At night before sleep, I saw he sent dozens messages. "Sylvia, I'm here, where are you? Traffic jam or car broke? Coming?" I didn't look others, only replied, "Temporary matter today, tomorrow noon 12, same place." Ethan watched me message, gave damaging ideas, day after heavy rain, invite him mountain climbing, when he reaches top, say you're not going. Or abroad travel, Egypt good, when he lands, break promise. I thought not bad, adopt it all. Adrian was toyed for a month, dejectedly blocked me at home door. "You've been playing me, Sylvia? Is this playing?" "I don't know, I only know you treated me like this before." Standing up he excelled, what I did compared to him. Adrian's Adam's apple bobbed, obscurely, I also know I did wrong before, but I truly know wrong, I raised hand interrupting, "Truly no wrong, or other matches know your thing with Lilith, unwilling to marry daughter to you, so you have to find me?" Lilith now indeed independent, he indeed no overt tugging with her. But their relation still close. Must you think of me like this? Or what? Adrian clenched fist, "Goo family has enough capital, I don't need to marry for alliance, no need to think me so vicious." I shrugged, "Is it? But I heard many Goo Group clients came for me. After I resigned, many terminated with Goo Group, Goo family strength declined these years. So you want me back, voluntarily bleed for your family to earn?" My tone always calm, but Adrian like foot-stepped, "Can't you not think me so bad? I want to salvage you for one reason, I love you." You believe this yourself? 5 years ago explosion instant, for Goo Group project, not to disappoint you, first thought to protect research results. But you? You only protected Lilith, even for 25 days, couldn't spare one day to visit me. The love from his mouth disgusts me. Adrian staggered back 2 steps, face pale, but I know wrong." Hearing him excuse again, I felt annoyed. Ethan held me, disgusted at Adrian, "Roll, not everyone is your mom, tolerating your mistakes." Have shame, don't harass Sylvia again, shameless come again, won't just be police taking for lecture. Adrian spoke so infatuated, but hearing this, still left. Just leaving, every 3 steps turning back, eyes full of unconcealed affection. Later, Adrian came several times. But all watching from afar, not daring to disturb. Several times Lilith came, he drove her away, they seemed unhappy. 3 months later, I formally married Ethan. Wedding day, full security, colleagues and leaders from research base mostly came. Adrian tried sneaking in unsuccessfully. Later, Maggie disdainfully complained to me, scum holding pile of bottles pretending saint, drunk then calling your name to Lilith, kissed on road, then to hotel. Ethan found it too gross, had his CEO sister act. Goo group besieged, nearly didn't survive. Adrian also for affecting my reputation, called by officials. I was to marry, prepare pregnancy, then serve nation, considered key protected talent. After release, he behaved more. After marriage I got pregnant, gave birth. Child's full month ceremony, Adrian gave 9.99 million gift, note, this is the betrothal money prepared for you, consider as married you. I replied, less disgusting, the tech dividends you promised but didn't give, not just this amount. Adrian silent, next day his engagement banquet with Lilith. She 8 months pregnant, near birth. But their banquet, Adrian absent, accompanying a secretary resembling me. Lilith went to catch adultery, angry to premature birth. After marriage they fought, their child directed by Lilith to find Adrian got hit dead, she mad, stole company secrets to rivals. Goo group bankrupt, Lilith arrested. Adrian's parents angry severed ties. When I heard these from Maggie, was with Ethan accompanying child visiting science museum. Dad, Mom, I want to do research, scientists research so many interesting things, they're so awesome. Little dumpling riding Ethan's neck, eyes sparkling. Ethan holding her legs, smiled at me, yes, your mom is very great.